Okay, the leadership wheel. We've already discussed that, so please fill out one for yourself in your own time. We will discuss it if you're comfortable in our next presentation. Also, I've given you an extra one. Please bring it back to your club, make photocopies of it, give it to your team and ask them to fill out the leadership wheel for you. The reason I want you to do that is because you can get very honest, open and anonymous feedback in a very simple chart. That will allow you then to be able to work not only on your strengths but also improve your weaknesses. We are going to also have some accountability before our next presentation. Our next presentation is in 5 weeks. We have our date locked in. When that time comes, you will have to be you will discuss the leadership wheel that has been done on you. Can you please, I have given you this resource so you have it in front of you before our next meeting. List the 3 areas that you need to improve on your curve. List 3 behavioural trainers or skips that you will work on with your manager. You will have worked on these before our next presentation, and we can identify what the best practice was, how you improved, what you learned from the procedure. In regards to accountability, we have 5 weeks. In those 5 weeks, I'm not sure if you're a reader or not. If you're not a big fan of reading, please get yourself an audiobook. You spend lots of time in your office. You spend lots of time entering details. You'll probably also spend lots of time in your car doing working out. Get yourself an audiobook. Simon Sinek. Start with Why. Some absolutely fantastic content. It'll help you understand yourself a lot more, where you're going, why you're going there, and then it'll also help you understand the behaviours of others. 5 weeks. We will be discussing it the next time round. Goal setting. In regards to our goal setting, you must do your own goal setting and sit down with your managers to reassess it. The goals will be very simply laid out. It'll be, first of all, your 12-month personal goal and action plan to achieve this, and then we break it down into smaller steps. We break it down into quarters, where you can break down basically 3-month goals over 4 different stages, and then eventually down to 1-month goal, which obviously will include the Good Life goal and many kickstarts you sell, many memberships you sell, how your team performs. Okay, we are nearly there now, guys, so bear with me. This is the final stretch of it, okay? Please take the disc profile back and do it with your teams. These are, I'm going to hold you all accountable for this. When you have it done, we will reassess it and review it in our next presentation. We'll take about 15-20 minutes and we'll look for some feedback on how you think it worked and if implemented into your club was a success or not. This is it. We're just here, finally, at the end of it. Club A. Doesn't make a difference what the club is. It is one of our clubs. This is the stats from last year. You've all read these before. This is the budget, what they were expected to sell. This is the sales, what they actually sold, and whether or not they had growth within the company. As you can see, 78, 178, 160. Slightly achieved its sales budget, slightly achieved sales budget, and also growth within the club. They had growth in this regard, and here, December, for some reason, they absolutely blew it out of the water. So 1, 2, over the course of 11 months, and then in the 12th month, doubled the budget, doubled the expectation. Can anyone suggest what occurred in December?
They got a sales manager?
They got a sales manager.
I don't know, did they not have one before, or did
They had one all the time, very good. You're not far off, they actually got a new sales manager.
Oh.
And that leads us into the next thing. The sales manager, ACGM, the assistant club general manager or sales manager, makes all the difference. What can you do differently in your club that will help you look at your club like it was the first day? You understand what tunnel vision is? We all, it's human nature to develop tunnel vision, okay? So when you're in a role for a while, we have some very experienced people here. We also have some new people here. So we've already discussed best practice. The very first day you entered your role as a sales manager, how motivated were you? You were highly motivated, okay? We want to get that motivation back because it needs to be every day. As we said, you have intrinsic motivation and it filters down to your team. If you generate tunnel vision, which we all do as human nature, it can affect your performance, which again can affect the performance of your team and then lessen your results, hinder your results. How can you get the most out of your current team? Lindsay, have you any suggestions how you can get the most out of your current team?
Yeah, I mean, just, I guess, making sure that you're touching base with them all the time, asking them why, finding out how best to communicate to them, and then making sure that you've got like a certain type of script that you can start off with to deal with each different personality type and different personality trait.
Beautiful, thank you. And we also have the disc profile, and that will help us understand a little bit about the people. Yeah. So how do you need to manage your team differently? Is there anything that you've learned from today that you can take back to your club and help manage your team slightly differently?
Yeah, for me, I guess it's just giving them more specific feedback. So when I'm giving them feedback, rather than just say, yeah, good job, actually giving them the details as to what they did well.
Okay.
So for me, that's definitely something I want to do.
So what did we discuss? We said immediate, specific, how it made you feel, and then the warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's a good little example. I couldn't remember at the time, but we got there eventually.
Yeah.
Do your MCs want your job? If not, why? Are there MCs in your call center that want to be a sales manager? Of course there are. Of course there are. You lead the example. If you are running around like a headless chicken, popping arteries, eyes bulging out of your head, is anyone going to want that job? No. You need to be in control, but you need to be motivated. Planning, organization, putting in the time when time is needed, before 8 a.m., after 5 p.m. This is not an 8 to 5 job, we know this. You have to put the time in, you have to graft, it's hard work. We discussed this at the very start of the presentation. Your MC should want your job. Did you want to be a sales manager when you were an MC? Lindsay?
I did at the time, yeah.
When you were an MC, a sales manager, did you want to become a club manager? Do you want to be a club manager?
Yes, I definitely want to be a club manager now.
Fantastic. There will be MCs in your call center that do not want to be sales manager, but that depends on their personality. That depends really on who they are, and you have to identify the personality traits that they have. It might be a motivational issue, or it might be a recruitment issue. This is where our next presentation will take us. It will be all about recruiting the right people for the job and helping develop them grow. Okay, help identifying. Unfortunately, that's where we fall. We have a weakness. We might necessarily always recruit the right people because it's very difficult to identify the right people at the time. That's why we're trying to introduce new models for our assessment process when we take on new people. Okay, as you can see, finally, we have reached the very end of it. It's been a long and arduous journey, and I thank you very much for bearing with me. What I'm going to ask you to do is, you can give me verbal feedback if you see fit, but also remember, you have in your resources in front of you a feedback form right at the very back. It detaches nice and gently. Please take this opportunity to fill it out. You do not have to put your name on it. Give us feedback. There's 10 questions. Give us feedback on all of them. Just write a little sentence. It's not going to take any more. It's going to take about 2 minutes. It'll help us improve the content for the next time. It'll also help me improve as a presenter going forward. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely look forward to seeing you all in 5 weeks. I will be holding you accountable to the tasks at hand. Take care.